Seneca Shakur, formerly known as Monster Kody, was an extremely intimidating gang member of the Eight Tray Gangster Crips gang of Los Angeles. At 11 years old he was initiated into the Eight Tray Gangster Crips. By the time Kody was 13, he had earned the reputation monster when a robbery victim was relentlessly beaten and disfigured. Police officers reportedly called the assailant a monster. The moniker became inextricably linked to his bad reputation as a monster. Violence was part of Kody's life as a kid. He was involved in robberies, attacks, and shootings with other gangs, mostly the Rollin, 60s neighborhood Crips, a dangerous gang that was archrivals of the Eight Trays. 6 times Kody was ambushed and shot by members of the Rollin, 60s gang when he was 16, but he was unable to deliver the fatal blow because the encounter with nighttime and PCP incapacitated his body's shock response. Kody served 36 months in San Quentin and 5 years in Pelican Bay, for the most part in solitary, on his own criminal activity. His conversion to Islam, activism in the Republic of New Africa, and adoption of the surname Seneca Shakur during incarceration marked a departure from gang life toward black nationalism. While others vilified it as callous, his best-selling memoir, while incarcerated in Pelican Bay, sold over 100,000 copies and was endorsed for its brutally honest account of gang life. Even after his purported rehabilitation, Shakur still had legal issues after being released from prison. He was arrested on assault, robbery, and carjacking charges. One of the strongest Crip sets in Los Angeles was the Rollin, 60s neighborhood Crips, and Big U was a recognized member. While Big U is still legendary for his strategic prowess, Kody was heavily involved in street gang violence. Big U was one of the original members of the Rollin, 60s and was more valued for loyalty. The Eight Tray Gangster Crips and Rollin, 60s have had a contentious relationship since the 1970s. The beginning of a pattern of activity in 1979 was when Tyrone, who belongs to the Rollin, 60s, and Fatty, who is part of the Eight Trays, had a fight in which became an all-out brawl. The feud intensified with Kody being associated with many shootings that made members of the 60s the targets, thus becoming eligible for revenge. Kody had a head start on establishing his gang reputation and was roughly 3 years older than Big U. Kody was notorious as a hostile figure who didn't shirk away from enemies face-to-face by the time Big U began establishing himself as a Rollin, 60s kingpin. According to his own life history, he had evaded many assassinations attempts and had fired 8 times at Brim gang members with a sawn-off shotgun, which contributed to the myth of being invincible. Kody's self-confidence was probably built on seniority, as he believed that he was a veteran of war who had seen it all and done it all. Kody didn't care whether he lived or died, and it didn't matter to him to kill a person. He was a very dangerous opponent because of this mindset and his daily practice of using PCP, which suppressed pain and fear. In the 1970s and 1980s, Big U and the Rollin, 60s tried to get Kody to check in, a ritualistic greeting for gang members to show respect for a hostile gang's authority over its territory. Despite the 60s' greater numbers and control over territory, Kody held out. Since checking in represented a masterful display of submission that would ruin one's reputation, Kody set this act of defiance as courageous. Despite the competition between their crews, Big U and Kody showed each other respect, particularly in prison settings. Big U recounted running into Kody and some of his guys. Despite that tensions likely were upped, Big U had seen the legendary status Kody held on the streets and went as far as to record the incident when Kody had knocked out one of the guard's eyes, attesting to his fearlessness. Gang grievance was reduced to more general racial or political affiliations in the prison, and Kody's revolutionary status following his conversion to Islam could have been enough to gain the respect of Big U. Kody knew his reputation commanded respect even from people who were not necessarily his friends, so he had nothing to fear. As a religious fanatic, he explained his belief in the gang and viewed violence as a means of respect as well as territorial defense. Survival of the 1980 shooting, as if he was invincible, made him authoritative. Because of his mindset, he probably wasn't as intimidated by someone like Big U, who was tough-looking, but calculated rather than wild. Big U was a street leader who moved from gang life to charity and entertainment. This, as opposed to Kody's forceful, in-your-face manner, might have made him more at ease. Big U viewed himself as a manager, whereas Kody viewed himself as a street warrior. Kody was found dead in June of 2021 at an Oceanside, California homeless encampment. The fact that Kody passed away from natural causes is a long way from his threatening demeanor. Monster Kody's courage of Big U was a byproduct of his legendary image among the 8 Tray Gangster Crips, his seniority, his perilous nature, and his defiance in cases like the Rollin 60s reported check-in attempt. His courage was also enhanced by his mental toughness, survival of near-death experiences, and respect for Big U during incarceration. Kody's friendship with Big U is the perfect combination of conflict and respect found in the LA gang environment, and his life continues to be a cycle of violence, redemption, and tragedy.